In the deep world of nostalgia podcasting, only one can dig deep enough to cover the cartoon Fish Police. Detectives Joel and Andrew are that podcast. This is Cartoon Dumpster Dive. Officer Joel.
Detective Andrew.
Oh, in the world of police, not real cops, because I don't like real cops, but TV cops. Are you good cop and I'm bad cop, or are you bad cop and I'm good cop?
I don't know, honestly. I mean, like I've always thought. I always thought good cop, bad cop. That phrase should have been phrased a little bit differently and been like nice cop, mean cop. Mainly because to me, when you say bad cop, I'm just like, oh, that's just a cop that's bad at their job.
He's just like, I'm just going to let you go. I'm like, dude, I thought we were doing bad cop, good cop. It's like, there's nothing worse than a cop can do than letting go of the perp. So I did my part.
That's his bad. The bad cop is him just like
his bad cop is he just lets him go.
Just unlocks cuffs and it's just like, here's the door. You're done. You're out. And
yeah,
like, what?
Get out of here.
What the hell are you doing? I thought we was playing good cop, bad
Johnson,
cop.
what the fuck?
I thought we was playing good cop, bad cop. You came in.
Yeah, you're supposed to be mean to him. Then why didn't you say good cop, mean cop? That sounds like a really a skit that a YouTuber would make.
I could see like Joel Haver doing that.
Yeah, something like that. There you go, Joel Haver. You can have that one for free. We know you listen.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Anywho, we are covering the very brief animated series called Fish Police.
Very brief indeed.
It was requested by no one because I doubt anyone knew it existed. But without further ado, let's review that theme song.
Let's hit it.
If New York is the melting pot, then Fish City can only be described as the bouillabaisse. Trust me, being a good cop in a bad town can be murder.
And
Mercy.
That's it.
Ooh, Sensational Salads was next on that ad.
I know.
Delicious. This episode is not brought to you by Zaxby's.
I wish.
Yeah, man. Who are you kidding? I'd love a free Zaxby's anything.
I know, right? But yeah, that's the theme song.
It's I got to give it a 7, not because musically it's impressive, but it's it just makes me think of Dick Tracy or really old Gumshoe movies.
Yeah,
the streets are riddled with crime and
I was
what the fuck city.
I was going to give it a 5. To me, it's just it's right down the middle. It's nothing to write home about, let me tell you.
Yeah, no. So, Joel, how did this get made? What is the story behind it?
Yeah, so there's not too much of a story. So let's take a trip back in time, Andrew.
Okay.
Let's go back. I love how every time I say let's take a trip back in time, you make that sound, and that sound to me is the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire sound.
It is. It's not. That's not what I'm trying to do.
I know, but that's why it sounds like...
I can see how you would think that. Boom, 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 boom.
Who wants to be a millionaire?
Oh, he's dead.
Yes.
Rest in peace, Regis.
So let's go back to 1992, Andrew.
Oh, man.
The ward is captivated by one adult animated series known as The Simpsons.
They're yellow. They're fellas. And they're... What is it? Mrs. Bush said that Bart Simpson was going to turn all of America's youth into hellions.
Oh, he did. I remember I went around saying, "Eat my shorts," because that's what a hellion does.
I actively punched old people in the face.
That one actually is kind of bad.
I went, they're like, "Aren't you cute?" And I was like, that's what Bart Simpson would do. Fuck yeah.
Physical assault to the elderly. Take
Physical
that.
assault. Talk about that at your next prostate exam, you old fuck.
He's telling his doctor about some elementary school age kid punching him in the face.
I would have been 3.
Yeah, that would have been hilarious to see. So the ward, I mean, really, I feel like there's not a person on this planet that doesn't know what The Simpsons, is.
The thing is, though, in the 90s, The Simpsons are at their peak.
Oh, yeah. Well, like, this is...
Like, everybody wants a piece of that pie.
Yeah, this is 92, so you're talking about The Simpsons are, like, they are fresh. They've been around for a few years. They are fresh. They are on the top of the world. And every other studio on the planet is wanting to get in on that Simpsons fame.
That sweet, sweet, sweet adult animation money.
Correct. So we we might talk about some of these other adult animated series later on, but ABC, CBS had a couple, and that's where this comes from. Fish Police ran on CBS. First episode aired February 28th, 1992. Andrew, they had a total of 6 episodes, but only 3 of them actually made it to TV here in the U.S.
Yeah, it had very poor ratings. Although Europe did eventually get all 6.
Yeah. It got pulled. The last episode aired on March 13th, 1992. So you're talking about 2 weeks from February 28th to March 13th. 2 weeks this thing basically ran.
Yep.
Crazy. It kind of reminded me of Battletoads. How that aired 1 episode, and it was just like, no.
1 episode, and everybody immediately hated it.
Yeah. So, where The Simpsons was a creation that was created by Matt Groening, this, I guess CBS, they wanted to kind of just pull a more adult themed cartoon kind of that was already a creation and make a cartoon out of it. Right. So what did? They turned to comics.
Yep.
And they actually found a more mature adult themed comic by the same name called Fish Police, written by Steve Moncouse. And apparently the comic was not too bad. It had 26 episodes, had 26 issues, ran for about 6 years in publication.
Oh, that's not bad.
No.
Now, were these were book comics or like the Sunday Funnies?
No, like book comics, like actual comic books.
Okay. Nice.
It was originally it was self-published, black and white, under Moncouse through his own like publication, which he named Fish Rap. Yeah.
He really went in with the fish.
Oh,
huh?
he really did. After 11 issues, it was then picked up by another company called Comico in '87. They reprinted issues did new issues, but after the 17th issue, Comico went bankrupt. Then that was kind of passed on to another company called Apple Press. Apple Press continued basically the rest of the series until the end of, its lifetime. And Marvel Comics ended up picking up the story and just did some reprints in color later on down the road.
Marvel? Does that mean Disney owns Fish Police right now?
No, I would say no, mainly because IDW Publishing did some reprints here recently. So I'm guessing they probably...
I would have loved to see Inspector Gill in the MCU.
Yeah. The funny...
Working with Namor and Atlantis.
The funny thing is, Inspector Gill in the comics looks completely different than what he does in the cartoon.
Oh, really?
I actually like his design in the comics a lot more than the cartoon. They almost made him look like a catfish in a way.
Okay.
It's strange. I'm sure you can put up a picture on Twitter or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But CBS, they decided, hey, this comic, it was kind of a an indie comic. It was kind of underground, but it was targeted towards a more mature adult audience. But it had enough fame to where CBS said, hey, let's turn it into an adult animated series to compete with this.
We'll finally dethrone The Simpsons with this.
And no, they
got stomped mercilessly.
Yeah. But that's really it. It was just created to compete against The Simpsons, and I don't even think it was on Fox's radar, honestly.
I believe this was like one of CBS's last animated anythings.
Yes.
For I can't even remember the last time I watched CBS, but I'm pretty sure they're just a news network right all the time now.
This cartoon is pretty crazy because I've already looked at some of the voice actors and they get some pretty...
It is jam-packed.
Yeah.
Star-studded.
Yeah.
It is insane.
Oh, yeah. So hit us with them, Andrew.
Okay, so the voice cast for Fish Police is John Ritter is Inspector Gill, Megan Mullally is Pearl, JoBeth Williams is Angel, Edward Eisner is Chief Abalone, Georgia Brown is Goldie, Tim Curry is Sharkster, Hector Elizondo is Calamari, Robert Gilman is Detective Catfish, Buddy Hatchet is Krabby, Frank Welker is Muscles Marinara, Doc Croker and Louie, and Charlie Shatler is Tadpole. And there is a ton more. Phil Hartman is in this. That's really the only one worth mentioning, I guess.
Yeah. But still pretty big.
Still pretty impressive.
Yeah.
For their other works, we have John Ritter as Ben Healy in Problem Child. Megan Mullally is Sarah Wiggum in The Simpsons. I wonder if they made her feel like a traitor. JoBeth Williams is Diane Freeling in The Poltergeist. Ed Eisner is Sid in Cobra Kai. He's also Carl in the movie Up, which is where most people would probably know him.
Yep.
Georgia Brown is Helena Rosenko in Star Trek The Next Generation. Tim Curry is Herkmer Homolka in the movie Congo. I just tried to name something different if this is your first time listening. Wondering why I said that.
That's a pretty good movie, Congo.
Hector Elizondo is Barney Thompson in Pretty Woman. Robert Gilman is Rafiki in The Lion King. Buddy Hatchet is Scuttle in The Little Mermaid. Frank Welker is Wilma in that terrible Velma series that we're not going to cover because even professionals have standards, and I'm not punching down on that thing.
Oh, come on.
We'll see. If you guys want us to tear it a new one, we will. But even I'm like, I don't really want to take the effort to watch it.
I was about to say, that's really what it is. You just don't want to have to watch it.
Yeah, that's true. And finally, Charlie Shatler is Kick Buttowski in Kick Buttowski, Suburban Daredevil. So let me tell you something about this show, Joel.
Okay.
I did not know it was for adult audiences when I first started watching it. When like the first episode, a fish owner of a casino gets murdered, and they describe all the ways he was killed, and one of them is he got shot in the head. I do like that the body bags in this show are sardine cans.
Okay, that's
so they come with the sardine can, and they roll them up and take them away. There's a lot to like in this show. I will say this. I could just see it not being popular because it tried to compete with The Simpsons. To me, that means it tried to like be in the same time slot. That's what competing with The Simpsons is to me.
Yeah, which you should not do that.
No, definitely not in 92. That's for sure.
No.
I will say it was odd to see a fish with big old titties. Big old fishy mommy milkers.
What was it?
If you're into that,
what was it? I think
they're in this show.
I think when we was talking about doing this episode, and I was just like, what the hell is Fish Police? And I looked it up. I think the first thing I told you is they have basically a Jessica Rabbit fish.
She even does a bit on the Jessica Rabbit line where she's like, I'm not bad, I just smell that way because fish smell fishy.
Yep.
There's a racist crab.
Of course there is.
Who thinks all squids look the same.
Yeah.
Every squid in this show is Italian, and they look very Italian. There's even like a mafia don called the Codfather.
Is that okay? All right, that's hilarious. I'm sorry. I love a good pun, and I know this show is filled with them.
Oh my god! If you love puns, specifically of the fish variety, this show is way up your alley. And there's only 6 episodes, but good God,
is there a stereotype that like squids are Italian or something?
So my logic behind that is calamari is an Italian dish before it's a Japanese dish.
Oh, okay.
So that's the only thing, and I don't think you can. There is only one Asian character, and she's a koi fish, so that's cool. Most of the time, this series follows our main character. Actually, all episodes. I don't know why I said this series. It's 6 episodes.
Yeah.
But it follows Inspector Gill just trying to solve crimes and the corruption of Fish City. Ranging from racketeering to somebody stealing the world's rarest baseball card.
Oh.
He has a love triangle with Pearl and Angel. Pearl is the owner of Pearls, a like diner, and Angel is a singer at Don Calamari's I don't know what, a casino hideout lounge. And his 2 henchmen, one of his henchmen makes me laugh because there's the big goon, right? But his other henchman is just a lawyer that's a shark. That's Tim Curry's character.
Okay.
Which, if you were a cartoon mafia guy, of course you just have a lawyer with you at all times.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I wouldn't suggest watching it unless you want to be super surprised by how adult that it is. This show constantly, and I cannot stress this enough, constantly talks about fucking with
I mean,
like
just from the from the drawings, how it's animated, I would feel like sex is a big theme to this show.
There was one. It's the one with Phil Hartman, and he plays a handsome fish, and he goes up to Goldie, and she's like, I don't know what he said something about scrambled eggs, and she goes, "You can scramble my eggs anytime."
Oh.
I'm like, holy shit!
Wow.
Also, Detective Catfish is an undercover cop, which I don't know if catfishing was a term that you used in 92, but like, talk about some foreshadowing if it wasn't.
I mean, really?
I thought that was pretty neat. So, Joel,
Yes, Andrew.
I believe it's time for your new reoccurring segment, Reviews That Do Justice and Reviews That Are Sleeping with the Fishes.
Yeah, so couldn't find any real low reviews for this show. I did find that IMDb, it has an average rating of 8 out of 10 on IMDb.
I think the only people that, because it's an average rating out of 419, and I feel like 419 people could have remembered this. Out of the entirety of the internet, that makes sense. And if you are going to remember it, you're probably going to remember it fondly.
Yeah, I mean, there's actually so this one is a 10 out of 10. It's a lengthier one, but it's why was this Joel ever canceled? Why oh why oh why? I saw all 6 episodes on YouTube today, and I'm wondering why this show was ever canceled. The obvious answer is that it fell victim to network ratings. To me, it is a highly underrated show. While not the best show on earth, I would definitely see the episodes again. Well, the ideas for this show were imaginative, and the stories were simple but well told. The dialogue is witty and innovative, and is the main reason why the show was as good as it was. The animation was excellent, with lovely colors and imaginative backgrounds, though it may be dated by today's standards. The characters, while not as memorable as other animated characters, are appealing and are nimbly voiced by the likes of Megan Mullally, Hector Elizondo, Tim Curry, and the late John Ritter. Another honorable mention should go to Phil Hartman as Inspector Seabass in the episode Fish Out of Water. The music by James Horner is wonderful and dynamic. If you come across this show, watch it if you like shows that are really good but were unfairly canceled, like Darkwing Duck, Tailspin, and Peter Pan and the Pirates. 10 out of 10, Bethany Cox. So,
cool.
Bethany loved it.
It was written by a lady, so she wasn't swayed by those mommy milker fish titties.
You can't say that. Maybe she was, man.
Maybe she was. That's true. Maybe she was. How very close-minded of me. I like this review that I just stumbled upon, written in 2004. What with Shark Tale in theaters, maybe it will make a comeback. It did not.
Shark Tales was not a good film either.
It's just like, why that?
Out of all the fish, because really, what Shark Tales came out around the same time as Finding Nemo, right?
Yeah, it was DreamWorks' competitor to Finding Nemo.
So why would you pick Shark Tales? I guess because it's more.
I guess
like
because
this.
it had a fishy crime family.
Yeah, but
they were in like the same vein.
Yeah, but that in like the lowest rating that I found with the actual review was a 5 out of 10. But that one, like whoever wrote it rambled.
Holy cow.
Yep. Yeah, they had a lot to say about this, so I'm not gonna worry about reading that one.
Okay. Well, any closing thoughts on Old Fish Police before we wrap everything up?
Yeah, I've got a it's just like a little, maybe a trivia thing. If like a little trivia question. I thought this was hilarious. I kept seeing pictures of a Simpsons episode where they was making fun of Fish Police. They was basically making fun of all these adult animated shows that came out around the same time to compete with the Simpsons.
Okay.
So I had to go look up this episode to see, did the Simpsons really do this? And it was on season 4, episode 5, the third Treehouse of Horror. They actually they show a pet cemetery, okay? And they're basically they're like, making fun of Pet Cemetery, but they make the camera pan over a bunch of different gravestones, and they show 3 different headstones. One of them says Fish Police, another one says Capital Critters, and the third one says Family Dog. All 3 of those,
I think, yeah, all 3 of them are CBS, right?
no, two of them are CBS. The other one is the ABC's like version of The Simpsons.
Okay.
But I thought that was hilarious that they actually.
Yeah, that's back when The Simpsons had some balls.
Yeah, that they actually was just like, yeah, good try, guys. Good try.
Yeah, if you got, maybe 3 hours to kill and you want to watch some fish be very sexual to one another, maybe if you're a furry, it'll scratch some itch, I'm sure.
I mean,
give it a shot. It's all on YouTube. I doubt anyone's going to copyright stricken that.
Yeah, God, maybe if you're a furry and you're really into I forgot what the terminology.
I think they're called scalies.
Scalies.
You're into fish.
Yep.
If you dress up as a fish, you're a scaly. I think.
I know. There's a whole like subculture where it's not like, it's more like scales, like you're talking about.
Yeah.
So
speaking of subcultures, you should subscribe to our Patreon.
Nice.
Patreon.com/cartoondd. We have a $5 tier where we're working on bonus episodes. You have access to our Discord, and we will mail you every sticker we've ever made. If you'd like to request a cartoon or have 2 cartoons go head to head in our Junkyard Brawl, you can head on over to cartoondumpsterdive.com. We have a Twitter handle CartoonDD. We have an Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, all Cartoon Dumpster Dive. There you can see all of our memes. If you'd like to send us an email, you can send that to cartoondumpsterdive@gmail.com. And as always, we'd love it if you would send us a 5-star review on the podcasting platform of your choice. It really helps out the show. And we've also made more than 6 episodes, so I feel like we deserve it. Have a great rest of your week.
See ya.
And the deep crime rated. Fuck, I really had that too. I was going to do this whole thing. Fuck.
You're not about to do a Law and Order.
This has been a Lug Hole Podcast.